Oh my God.
Got a new friend?
Tired of sitting here? Yeah.
You know Jack Sparrow. Everybody know who Jack Sparrow is?
Yes, sir.
You know Jack Sparrow. He quickly signed a treaty, settling down in the Caribbean, and then later on in years, a very lovely Italian family by the name of Mazzaroli purchased Graceman and transformed it into Grey Cliff, which now consists of the 5-star restaurant hotel, the art galleries across the street, the Heritage Museum that has 13 different rooms of 13 different eras of Nassau, the cigar rolling factory where the Cuban cigar rollers roll their cigars all day and smoke their cigars all day, the Humidor restaurant right next door that serves Brazilian rack sizes of meat during an evening buffet, and of course the topping on all of it is the awesome-tastic chocolate factory that's headed by Chef Erica Dupree Davis, who's a triple-time winner on Top Chef's Just Desserts. And she won her triple challenges with her trio walnut crunch cookie that she now half glazes in chocolate. So on the count of 3, we're going to shout 2 words: chocolate and factory, all right?
All right.
1, 2, 3! Chocolate factory! All right.
Sorry, they are.
What is that? Cacao beans?
Yeah, that's roasted and crushed.
Roasted cacao.
After the nibs are ground up and run through 2 different grinders, they then spin in this fine grinder for 48 hours continuously.
Some people didn't like their little cacao things. There's a few little pieces thrown around.
Once made and tempered, the chocolate needs to continue to be mixed, so this machine basically pumps the chocolate out, and this is our supplies for today's tasks. The first step was to take this little cotton pad and just clean out one of the candy bar slots really well, so we had to continue to buff this after we donned our gowns and gloves. So Mom was the first one to pour hers in the mold and go ahead and mix it up with some chopped almonds. And then I mixed mine with coconut and chocolate chip. And then we all had to tamp down our chocolate into the molds by tapping on the table.
Sorry, guys.
Really drawn with our chocolate. Great. All right.
They had us make a couple of different things. They wanted everybody to write their name or initials in the chocolate on this parchment paper on the table. So everybody that was at our table made some. Kathy's looked pretty good. Hers, I think, looked probably the best out of everybody's. And then we also were to each make a heart as well as some clusters. So here's the ones I made, and I couldn't resist throwing in a sailboat. And then Mom's heart and her initials, and then the clusters with sort of a drizzled look on it. They gave us each a box to wrap these up and take them home, but I must admit, a little bite each day and they were gone before the cruise ended. Then after the candy bars came out of the blast chiller, this is what they looked like. Here's the one I made.
He really loved the island, and he really loved himself. However, he got into an argument with the 6 floor proprietors, and they kicked him off the island. So, before he left, he picked up a native Indian as a present to himself, renamed the Indian Bill, traveled to Panama with the guy, and landed on a Pacific island off the coast of Chile called Juan Fernandez Island. What he did on that island was, he stranded his Indian there. Just left him there, because he didn't need him anymore. Like I wish I could do to my older brother for that time, but the boy buys me food, so the Spanish got angry and they started a battle. In that battle, they shot John Watling in the liver and he died in 1691, hence the name of the distillery, John Watling's Distillery, because we make rum here. You drink rum at an excessive amount, it shoots to your liver, and you die. So go right ahead, guys, drink on up. Nobody's stopping you. The only Bahamian handcrafted brand rum, which means it's special and it's made with love. Here at the distillery, we make 3 different types of rum here, as well as a vodka. Our vodka is called Red Turtle Vodka, and it's gluten-free. One of the first cane sugar-based vodkas, as well as the first Bahamian vodka to ever be made. We triple filter our vodka on a hot stove through the pink sands of Ultra, and the process makes it really smooth, so there's no burn when it goes down. Our has a citrus flavor.
Clearly handcrafted. They are hand labeling these.
So that's definitely the one for you. But then if you are a drinker, that's also the one for you. So we have drinkers here, right?
And now it was the time for the tasting.
Dear God, my prayer for 2016 is a fat bank account and a thin body. Please don't mix these up like you did last year.
And you just can't have a trip to the Bahamas without having the official Bahamian beer, Kalik. We also had some cracked conch. So after the tastings and a little purchase of some rum to bring back to the States with us, we went back to the boat after shopping in the straw market. I enjoyed showing Mom how big the other ship was next to us because she thought ours was large until she saw that. But this was the view off the stern of the boat as we had lunch on the 10th deck. This is when my little friend decided to arrive and just perch himself right here on this rail, just waiting for me to make a mistake and drop some of my food. I knew it was pretty windy this day, and I could tell by the waves coming in when we arrived in Nassau that it was a little bit rough. So I zoomed out from the upper deck just to get this footage. If you look here where these waves are rolling in, you can actually see them breaking right over the jetties out there. There was a good 10-foot or so swell of waves. We took advantage of the ship being in port and wandered around to take a look at all the sights. From up on this deck, we could see them setting up for the poolside Caribbean barbecue-themed dinner they were doing that night on the trip. Even got my mom out on deck. We went down and enjoyed the beach barbecue, and these were some amazing fruit carvings they had out on the display. There were a bunch of others too, I just didn't get pictures of all of them.
We anchored off of Great Stirrup Cay, which is a private island in the Bahamas. I believe it's either owned or leased by a couple of the different cruise ship companies, just for bringing their guests to. So I started hearing some noise outside the stateroom. So it's kind of neat. You can actually see the tender down below. Down below in this video, you'll see people boarding the tender. They all get seated. The tender backs off, and he heads towards shore with a load of folks. And then in just a few moments, you'll see another tender pull up. It's empty. It just dropped off people a little bit earlier. They run a rotation of 2 or 3 of these things back and forth between the ship and shore. So you'll see the next one actually pull up and tie off to the ship. Really kind of an interesting approach. When we decided to go ashore, it was interesting. We actually loaded on the starboard side of the ship, not the port side. So most of the footage you've been seeing from above has actually been the tenders approaching on the port side of the boat. When we went down below to take the tender, they were tied up on the starboard side. So I don't know if it had to do with wind or waves or an easier approach. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but we actually went off the other side. Went to the island. It was really nice. We kind of looked around a little bit, took a little dip in the water, etc. And then this footage you're about to see is actually our tender ride back from the island to the ship. You can tell this island is set up just for these cruise liners. I mean, you'll notice it's almost like a ferry dock. They have these sort of V-shaped barriers with bumpers and fenders on them, and the tender just pulls right up to that. They lower a gate down. We hop off like cattle to some extent, and then they raise the gate back up. When people are loaded back in, back out of there, spinning the boat around in this little lagoon, you can see how they come through a small S-shaped channel, I'm sure for essentially protection from the sea, and then ultimately head back out to the ship. So as we approach the ship, you'll see we kind of approach the ship, do a U-turn, and then he ties up on the side, and we all disembark the tender. It's kind of a nice Bill Garden catch, just motoring along here outside of Great Stirrup Cay, Bahamas.